Woo! Look, I took your recommendations, Sarah. He's now on a Lazy Susan, and it's one shot. So, now that I have audio working in the proper way, I will start back to where I was talking before. So, obviously, this is the dude that I'm working on, and I'm trying to make my own felted friend. With the advice from Danny and Art, I took it upon myself to watch the videos of Adam Krudinger. He's a very, very good puppet maker as well. He will be much bigger than this. So I'll get to why I am sculpting in scale. So his videos go through basically all the steps of working up a clay model. What do you want him to shape like? Making a pattern from him, then making a... Thought it looked small, yeah. That's what... Nice. Making a pattern from your clay model, scaling up the pattern, cutting out the foam, all the stuff, all the steps, using Barge to put it together, everything. First thing that I'm doing is I'm making a clay model so that I get the shape of the dragon that I want, and then I will make a parting line in the center, or down the center of his face. And I've already kind of been starting to do that as I'm only really working on one side, because I only need to make a pattern of one side of the face, and then I just copy it and I have both sides. So the other reason why I'm working in scale is that you don't have to use as much clay, and I'm not trying to get a ton of detail from him. I just want the overall shape. And so working at a scale like this, I can take enough detail from the pattern that it'll look like I want, and I can add in the finer details with stuff later. So the whole process is you make your figure in a scale that you want, and you get it to the overall shape that you're trying to get. Then you cover half of it in masking tape, cut that masking tape in half, kind of put where the darts of the pieces are going to go, and then you take the masking tape off very, very carefully, put it onto a piece of paper, make it much finer, like refine your pattern as much as you can, and then you take it to a computer, you scan it, scale it up to the size that you're actually going to be using. So, and you use a little bit of math for that, like this is whatever scale it is currently, and I say at the very end result I want it to be this size, whatever. It's probably going to be around more like this big compared to this little guy. And I just do the math of how much scale that would be, and then I transfer that pattern to the foam, cut the foam out, put the foam together, and I have my bare bones of what my felted friend will start looking like. So, yeah, I'm just working still on the shape. I obviously have in mind what I would like him to eventually look like, and even that is a very cartoonized version. He's probably going to end up looking something different anyway. I finally found my sculpture tools, so that was nice. I finally have all the things to take clay away and make more details. And on this model, I don't have to be super detailed. It's more just, am I happy with the shape? What tools do I want? I want this. So I'm going to use this later to cut this part of the jaw apart, so I can actually have separate pieces to make patterns off of for the upper and lower jaw. But that should do it for me for now. Math, says Twin Angela. Math is fun. So, yep, I will be zoning in and out as I kind of zen into the process of sculpting, but I'm a teacher, so, yay math. My mom and my sister are teachers, so you're in good company. I will definitely try and keep If you have cut the jaw apart, I hope you give the duck some morphine before you cut his jaw. Well, it's okay. Felted friends don't have feelings. I still have some clay on this guy. Always clean your tools, kids. Do as I say, not as I do. It's not like it's that hard to clean them after they dry, but then you can pick one up and not have to worry about cleaning it first either. If you love math, you should check out Brilliant.com. I love that site. It costs after the free trial, but a year membership isn't that much, and it's a lot of fun for math geeks. Nice. They would be offended if they had feelings. So, hope you all liked our bridge crew the other day. We had a lot of fun. We will be doing it again, I believe, next Friday. Because we are all a bunch of major nerds, and we love space. Brian loves space even more. But yes, space. Oh yes, finally tools that work properly. So also, if you don't know, I'm using plastilina clay, and I have my, well, my heat source, turn off for a sec, bowl of plastilina clay being heated up, because plastilina clay works while warm, so I leave it in a little bowl to stay warm. And that's another reason why, like, I will continuously just work on the shape of the creature, because you need to heat up the surface so you can get more detail into him. I'm just grooving out today. Let's see, I know I wanted to bring this section a little bit sharper. Speaking of which, I want to change something. I'll be right back. More delays, yay. No. Now I just want to be able to put my picture of the dude up a little bit easier to see for myself. Much better. I am a very meticulous sculptor. I'm sorry. I'm not fast. It's one of those things that it's like I will not move on to the next step until I am happy. So oh yeah, the poster there, that is a giant standee from an old movie store for Back to the Future when it was just coming out on VHS. So I took it, I made a custom frame for it and slatted all three pieces that make it depth-wise really cool looking. The only part that they didn't have was the part that said Back to the Future, so I have to make that eventually, but I just haven't yet. Yeah. And it's one of my favorite movies. I have the hoverboard that Mattel made. I have a Mr. Fusion, the real one, the one that Krupp's coffee grinder. I spent 4 months going to as many garage sales as I could, looking at like every photo on different websites, to just find an actual original Krupp's instead of like making a mold or something off of it. Finally found one. Have yet to make an actual Mr. Fusion off of it, but I will. It's one of those, I have it now, I can finish the project thing. But yeah. Cool dragon picture. Thank you. Yeah, that is what I am working on to make my felted friend look like. Very roughly, obviously. He's definitely a much more Western-inspired dragon than the Mushu kind of no wings, long mustachy kind of look. But he's still got a mustache. Still got a long neck. I gave him a little bit more aggressive, like horns and teeth. Mushu didn't have sharp teeth, I don't believe. Yeah, his teeth are going to be much pointier. Yeah. I want to be cute and terrifying. But he probably will just end up cute, because he's a felted friend. Anyway. That pick doesn't have the Eastern Dragon whiskers. Eastern? No, he shouldn't. No, he's more Western than anything. Because he's got the big broad wings of a normal drake. Yeah. So yeah, after this, Art and Amber are gonna be streaming a little bit of stuff on their end. And then after that, Danny and Val are gonna be playing some board games. Yeah, I'm just chilling out with you guys. Why do I feel like you could have figured out a way to 3D print the entire mold for yourself? I could have. Definitely could have. But I don't know. I might still do parts of it because I do want to give him some extra bit of mobility. Like I want to give him blinks, so I'm gonna make a mechanic for that. Danny and Val. What did I say? I don't know. I thought I said Danny and Val. Sorry. I'm just mumbling off the top of my head, so, you know, not actually paying attention to what I'm saying. Should the Braille dice that can be 3D printed. That would be cool. Those are cool. Let's just fix this whole section. Yeah, same. Hope we get partnered with the extra streaming that we're doing as well. Able to focus a bit more on the personal business than when we all had side job or day jobs to go to as well. Yeah, I am definitely gracious for working at the company that I do work at, which is Segerstrom Center for the Arts, which if you are ever in Orange County and you want to see a Broadway play, I highly recommend that theater. Not only just because I work there, but they are a very, very pleasant organization to work for. Mainly... yes, drag us more in. Drag more of us in. Yes. So yeah, I got word that they were gonna honor our payroll through the month of April for whatever our historical average for the month would have been. And like, I can't even express how amazing that is for a non-profit theater company to do. Is like, damn. Hey, General Davis. I was expecting to return to such a stream. I like it. Nice. Myra Aquila. Oh yes. I just don't go work for Hobby Lobby. I don't recommend that company. I cannot agree more. That is one of the most screwed up things a company could do to its employees. So yeah, right now you can kind of see, working on cleaning up the top part of this. He was a little bit too thick, narrowing his mouth down a bit. You are not wrong. I based him off of Mushu, but I gave him a more Western European dragon, like the medieval dragon, than the Chinese dragon that Mushu was based off of. But he will definitely not look like that in the end. He will have his own personality and character. That is just where I kind of wanted to go with the idea. I definitely even want to make more reference photos eventually, or reference drawings, just so I can get a better sense of his final result. But it's a good start enough for me to know in my head where he's going to eventually get to. Right now I'm just taking away a lot of extra material that I slapped on there at the start, thinking, oh yeah, this is how the shape I wanted, but it was a little bit too soft. I want more hard lines here and there. Because the harder the line is, the more it'll show up at the final, because the foam is going to round it out. Fun hobby to pick up while you're in quarantine. Honestly, put up a still life of objects in your room and just go to town. Like, get drawing, like a drawing board in front of you, start sketching, practice. Just like you would be surprised at how much time goes by of just like looking at every detail and getting so involved into what you're seeing and taking reference of how things are shaped, how lines correlate to other lines, where things are parallel based on stuff like that. One of the, like, I've spent like 5 hours in front of a still life before, where just like measuring with my thumb, going back to the page, scaling to that, measuring another device, and like, okay, that's the same size, so I measure my lines, see where things are in relation. And it just gives you a different eye to things. Diamond painting is a nice hobby. Wow. Diamond painting. That sounds interesting. It does. It really, really does. Sarah White asked me if Lazy Susan helps to move around this guy. It definitely gives me a lot more control instead of having to lift up the board, move it, or like deal with the fact that he's not in quite the right place. Hey, Dirty Habanero. Yes, this is my felted friend that's gonna be coming down the line, getting his rough shape in. Now that I actually have my proper sculpting tools, I'm able to take off a lot more material faster. get the shape I want much quicker. Even then, I'm still probably not going to be that fast. But I just like to work with clay. That's another thing, is like I have some familiarity with like ZBrush and stuff like that, but there is something about being able to hold the thing you're working on in your hands that I still have yet to let go. Funny thing is that Skinless Joe could ask him nicely to make the drinks cold. That is true. He will be a cold dragon. And he is going to have a cold breath weapon. I am going to make a little CO2 canister to... Do I play video games? I do. Not very much, but I do. This past week has been the most video games I've probably played in like 3 or 4 months. It's not something I do often. But yeah, helps when you have to stay home. Yeah, usually it's like Overwatch or Battlefield Starfront Battlefield 2. That is, and then obviously Bridge Crew, which is fantastic. If you have either a PC with Oculus or Vive or Battlefront. I do not play ranked. I am a terrible, terrible player, as well as all of us are. So, I play for fun. Oh! Thank you, Dirty Habanero. Thank you so much for gifting all those subs. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to us, especially while we're not able to be at the studio, but able to keep our doors open. And of course, everything. Perception Studio is Danny. Oh, nice. Any mains? I like Hamster Ball, dude. See? Look how bad I am a player. I don't even know their names. Hamster Ball, dude. I like Soldier 76. Yes, that's a name. That's a name. Gosh. What is... Yeah. I am terrible at all the other ones, I know that. Yeah. I'm used to Soldier because he plays so similarly to, like, other first-person shooter type like multiplayers. So he works for me. I don't know. It just makes sense. But like I used to play TF2. No, Team Fortress 2. Yes, TF2. Back with my sister on the PC a long time ago before Overwatch came out, and I was always a sniper on a PC because it's easy on a PC, and that was fun. But I cannot do that on PS4 because it's hard. This is a Silver Dragon. Yes, that is correct. Ana then? Not quite a sniper like Widow, but still nice. Cool, cool, cool. Heart is part of his extra bit. hate to see a chromatic dragon as a DM. Why? He'll at least have more patience for humans than a. Oh yeah, yeah. What am I saying? Yeah, the chromatic would just be like, you are insulting me, and I will just eat you. Yes. Metallic would just be like, well, humans. Or felted friends. Maybe he'll understand. Working on his little heart-shaped nose now. Very clever, yes. Happy see you says, chromatic DM, the monster burns you, and I keep your treasure. Love that you all already remember his name. What other art mediums do I use regularly? Okay, that is a question. I think the only one that I don't use regularly would probably be ceramics and painting. I'm not much of an actual oil acrylic painter, but I draw. I sculpt in clay and other kinds of clay, and I do 3D art. I do wood. I do found art, mixed media, video art. I actually recreated all of episode 4 of Star Wars with soda cans as a art project for college. That was a project. I think it's still on Vimeo. I'll have to link that at one point. Graphic design. Different. That's different than working in a median, Dad. But yes, I am also a graphic designer. Yes, I have not denied it, and nor will I. Yeah. I actually have a DeviantArt page. I think it's RYNKEISER. I have most of my stuff up there from in college, some more recently when I helped out some friends on their vacation Bible school building project that they were doing, some graphic design projects. RYNKEISER. There might be an underscore between RYN and KEISER. KEISER. Yes. That was a fun graphics design project. Is it that? Oh, I didn't know it was the full name. I don't know if there's an A. Fair. Yeah. That's it. See, yeah, you help. Very good help. It was perfect. Fair. In the Netherlands. Wow. Yeah. I want to make this part between his eyeballs a little bit more pronounced for his eyelids. So I'm going to start removing some material there. Hmm. Perfect. Yeah. Sculpting has always been like a meditation to me. So I feel the calm, man. Yeah, I don't know how aware y'all are about how the our felted friends Cucumber and Danny and Brian all having heart tongues, but because I am going to probably reference a dragon's tongue on this dude, I opted to make his nose a heart That's why I designed it as such. Yeah, I'm really glad I have something to do from home like this. It has definitely kept me from thinking about all the things currently. Yeah, there we go. A little bit of a heart nose happening there. Oh, there's shadow. I need light in the front of him. Fair. My clay clamp. It's just a lot more light than I'm wanting to actually give. Nah, just blows them out. Oh well. You know my face from somewhere. I've been to the Netherlands once, but probably not long enough to meet other people. I've also been in movies, but very small parts, so probably not from that either. What I want to do. Sometimes I wish I was ambidextrous, so this wouldn't be so hard. Fair, fair. Yeah. When I was in high school, I was a background actor. Do I like that better? I like that better. I might be adding more material back to this guy. Anyway, yeah. So I have been on General Hospital, I think, maybe. I've been on a few Nickelodeon shows. You can generally see my legs a few times. Yeah. My biggest role was Adam Sandler's movie Click, where which Nixos? Unfabulous. I was on that for like a week or more. Or, yeah. And yeah, it's been a really long time actually. I don't remember most of them, but I just remember being there on set. But yes, so I was credited actually for that role because we were given lines and Adam Sandler chased us for throwing firecrackers at him. That was a fun day. I'm a child star. This is what happens. Kidding. Oh, maybe. I mean, it was years ago, and literally, you have to know what my legs looked like. or what I was wearing to even know if you saw me. You never saw my face. The only movies you really saw my face were like Nutcracker, Click, and Role Models with Paul Rudd. I was LARPing. I was one of the guys doing LARPing in that movie. This up a little bit. Yeah. I don't like that. No. And people would know who I am. And plus, it costs money to add photos to your IMDb page. They don't make it free. If I was still doing acting stuff, I mean, like Hollywood acting stuff, I'd probably worry more about making my page more recognizable. But I'm good. Yes. Phase progress. Hey, Corey. Hi. Trying to work on his little heart nose. And there's no... Well, true. I mean, we don't really credit IMDb stuff to people's... Jaw is currently off center. Because I didn't take material away from this side yet. Huh. That's interesting. I did not know that. Have a good one. See you later, Happy. Awesome. I'll have to see about updating our IMDb. So I know, obviously, like, we also have friends who work in the industry, and I'm sure they would love a credit we could send their way if we could. People could easily reference and look up and be like, oh yes, they did that. Lower jaw is way too thick. Good night. Have a good rest. Be safe, y'all. Trying to get a better center line. Oh, nice. Thank you for linking that. So I think sometime in one of the slots that I have later this week, I will do some Twitch sings. I will get a list of songs together that I want to sing and make a set. Because why not? Links are what you do. Perfect. Do you start on the right side because you're right-handed? Yes. Doing anything on this side is way more hard for me. So, and since I only really have to do one side of the guy, I really am not focusing on it much. It's more just like, so my brain can put the sides together more than anything. Because right now I like the right side more. Yeah. I could obviously eventually make him one whole dude, but I like working on this side. That's fair. Yeah, and also like I have a habit of like working on an area, losing interest, going to another area. So that's why I've also like decided to just do the left side as well. Sometimes it's just like, I'll try and match this side as much as I can for just a bit. Maybe get a better chair for this. Like a stool or something. Or smaller board so I can bring this even closer. That's not bad. Not the best back support chair. Fair. Yes. Practice social distancing with my new felted friend. So I just need to cut in right here. It's all good, Sarah. Keeping the conversation going. Mm. Never had to work again money. If I had that. Honestly, I'm not one of those people who can, like, stop doing stuff. Like, I have to continue, so I would probably definitely get more time for myself to do artwork. And I would still probably run my part of the company with Danny and Art, because it is a fun thing to do and allows us to get together, be part of each other's work, get to create awesome things. Yeah, I would put it in the bank and relax is definitely the thing. Yeah, I like to keep creating. I definitely wouldn't try and work at other companies at that point, though. I would devote everything I could to just have fun doing what I want to do with the company. Oh yeah, I'm liking this now. Yes. A little bit more definition on those eyes, a little bit more alligator-y. I'm not sure how the channel points stuff works. I've never looked into that. But I think Danny knows more about it than I have looked into it. An alligator snapping dragon. It's just the way the muzzle shape is kind of focused. It's just long snout, like wide, broad mouth is kind of the idea I'm going for. But he, on this side that I'm working on, definitely looks more like what I want him to look like now. And I'm actually getting very happy with him. Might be done with his shape sooner than I thought. cute. He's just gonna be all hearts then. He's gonna be the cutest dragon you ever seen. Oh, in the picture. Oh, fair. Nah. Maybe. Millionaire, hello, how's it going? Yeah, fairy dragons are just colorful dragons. They pretty. Cute though. Maybe. I think, well, he's not gonna be resting, like, he's gonna be his own dude. He's just not gonna be on me. You won't see me while he's working his thing. But my general sense. Fair enough. To me, it's more like he realized how huge and imposing he would be as an actual silver dragon, so he polymorphed into his felted version to soften the blow to common folk. Can he need his own? Well, he's gotta make his own. It's a rite of passage. Exactly. He's a polymorphed dragon. Ah, fair. He has to have headphones. Should give an eyebrow raise. So, obviously not a permanent one, but maybe if I can, maybe not do blinks, but instead just the eyebrow expression. I'm just like, the Riker eyebrow, exactly. Done one-handed? Nice. Trying to broaden out his front muzzle and also bring it in a little bit. I made it a little bit longer than I was wanting to. But I also want to flare out his face front a bit. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not even gonna try and balance them out anymore. Oh. Oh no. That sucks. Yikes. I'm so very sorry. Hope you recover very quickly. Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely gonna have to narrow his bits a bit, but front-wise, I like not being able to see the back of his head. And it's so far okay. And I mean, I also have to make sure that I can keep my hand in there. I don't want to make him too small in the noggin. I don't have room for myself. Fair. He's gonna. This is at a much smaller scale than he's going to be. He's getting there. Most powerful? I don't know. I mean, I think it's more about age than anything. I want to say like an ancient red dragon or something like that is gonna be, in terms of just like strength and power, maybe, but like, I don't know. It's really your definition of what power is. Mm. That'd be cool. Thank you for the cheer, Gizmo Dev. How's it going? Bum bum bum. Working on a cheek line. Working on this jawline. For those of you in here who are watching me and have never seen our channel before, doing this kind of stuff is not what we normally, or not daily, do. But by trade, a lot of us on our channel are puppet makers and puppeteers, and I am earning my wings in a way, making my own first puppet. Well, my first felted friend. I have made a very, very crude shadow puppet for our campaign once, but that was a different story. But on Mondays, tomorrow, we will have a talk show with our friends Will and Art discussing this week's topic is actually going to be Picard at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Couldn't sleep. Welcome back. But yes, so 5:30 tomorrow, Will and Art will be talking about Picard. But they usually talk about movies and stuff and movie news, all that good stuff. And Tuesdays we have a D&D campaign with humans, much more refined, very epic adventure that is being run by our DM Danny Montooth. And we have all of our players Skyping in at the moment because, well, Zooming in at the moment because we're not able to play in our tavern set. But if you go back in our previous videos, you can see our something that our team put together before we were kicked out of our studio because of all the virusy things. Yeah. And it's a very, very awesome epic campaign that is going on. Danny's world building is top notch. And Wednesdays, I don't know if I have the actual teaser trailer loaded into this version of scenes. Manly Mutt says I concur. But Wednesdays, I host another show of D&D, but with our felted friends, Chunk, Cucumber, and Brian. And we have a lot of silly fun, where the chat is as well able to interact with us and change the story, which is also a possibility on Tuesday's show. You can drop in characters, give people DM powers. It is a fun time. What's your credit card number? No. When are you planning on Cucumber 2.0, Danny? That would be fun. Sarah has good ideas. We'll have to have more puppets ready to go when he casts polymorph on them if they're behaving badly, and just turns them into chickens or something like that. That'd be great. Why not use his draconic power? Exactly. Back of his head, I think, is still a bit too big. Get in there. Dig into his head a bit. That's how much material I want. Right? Just turn into a ghost. Ah, doesn't sound mean at all. It's true. It's true. It's generally the only thing I'm needing to sculpt. Like, the body's gonna be... Well, like, the neck part really isn't gonna be more than just, like, a sock. Then his lower half is gonna be just like a cone with some arms attached to the cone. I'll probably sculpt the horns. Danny Art let me know that Puppet Pelts actually has some horns done already, and I'm gonna check those out and see if I like any of those shapes. And if they're not big enough or small enough or whatever, I will probably have to make my own. But it'd be cool if they're done already. But I have a very specific type of horn in mind, and if they don't have it, I'll have to make it. Yay for 3D printing. But I also like the fact that they might be fabric. Also, feel free, y'all, to ask me any questions, doesn't necessarily have to be puppet related, happy to answer. That'd be cool. No, I think he'll have opposable hands, but not manipulatable hands. I just know I want him to have long reptilian fingers. Technical. Is there going to be a reboot of the very first episode before the Amora campaign? Before? Maybe? Honestly, I didn't really have much planned for that campaign either. But I know Danny was going to be like a fire genasi, and I think Cucumber was still going to be... No, Chunk was still going to be like a dwarf. But that's, honestly, it's up to them what they want to do campaign-wise. Oh, my mic. Don't know if those cracks made it onto the sound of the camera, but... I am liking his face on the side. Ooh. Thank you for the follow, Forbidden Shadow. Thank you. Glad you are liking what I'm doing and wanted to figure out more. Come back later this evening for some video games with Art and Amber, and some board games with Danny and Val. Got some old evening planned for y'alls. Best to stick around, y'all. I'm getting silly with my voices. Nice. Yeah, our Amora campaign was very different from what we've got now. But we did continue the Amora campaign to level 20 in our way. most of those characters are now legacy characters. Yeah, that was great. His eyes are too big now. I like his jaw. I'm gonna have to shape his eyes a bit more. Maybe just push them back more on his head. I like everything else. Push the wrong button. Yeah, I like this little smile. Bum 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 bum. I don't think so. There is something that I backed on Kickstarter. I'm hoping will get here eventually, which is the digital dice or the physical digital dice, where they know when you roll them, what you rolled. So I'll be able to like roll all the dice with my left hand. It'll show up on screen what it was, so I don't really even have to look at them. I can still keep doing the thing, and I'll just feel like roll dice, and then they'll calculate and stuff like that. Blah blah. Yeah, when Chunk and Cucumber have DM before, they have rolled their own dice. It's just when I am DM, they choose to not roll their own dice. Because it's just part of my contract. I'm supposed to do all the things for them. They choose to not roll their own dice. No. When they're DMing, they have a lot more table space. Gonna go a little bit longer. Waiting on the go to drop stream for Art and Amber. But y'all get to hang with them for a bit after my stream is done. Wish I could rate our own channels so that we could just send it to each other. Yeah, oh well. Because I have to go down, and then he's going to go right back. Yep. We'll be up in just a few minutes. OBS hates me. Ha! Yep. Speak of the art. Making an eye socket. Eye socket. Where's his eye? Ah! Kidding. Oh, it's metal. Ha! Found the armature. So right now I'm working on the eyelids just so I can get a good representation of how much eye they're actually going to be holding. Thank y'all for hanging out with me while I'm working on my felted friend. Very much appreciated. If you want to start working on your own felted friend while also under quarantine, I'm sure it's easy enough to find a place that you can pick up a bag of clay and follow. Well, plenty of us in the Discord can answer your questions if you got any. But Adam Krutinger's videos are who I am following. And with supplemental information from Danny and Art when I'm doing things wrong. Which I will be beholding. That one. That's definitely Art in the chat now. So Art, question, if you're listening in on me. If you're leaving room for eye blink mechanisms to go in here, do you leave it in the pattern for where the hole for the eyes would go in the foam, or is that something you just cut out later? You can cut that later. Okay. Hey, thank you for the follow, ZXRVQ7. ZXRVQ7. Almost ready. Perfect. So I think I'm going to be very close to being done with his shape by the end of this. So the next time you see him, I will have a pattern done, because that's very boring to do on stream. And I will start cutting out the foam and assembling him. Especially since to go scan and scale up my dude, it will be away from the computer, so easier to do off camera, but I will post pictures of the process, so not to be left out or anything like that. It honestly will be easier for everyone and whatnot to do the pattern off screen, I think. But I will definitely post it in our Discord and our Twitter. Maybe I might video it or film it and post it edited, so at least the process is shown. Yeah. I like that. And then big bulbous eye in front. Yeah. Yeah. Look at that face. Alright, y'all. Thank you very much for hanging out with me as I sculpt my puppet. I'm going to throw you over to Art and Amber, who are going to be playing some video games with y'all. Like a zombie dragon. Yeah, without the eyes and everything. Maybe I can get a nice overall shot of him. Sick. I know, this is my arm, but... Yeah. Looking good. Alright. Sorry for the shaky camera. I just wanted to show off. Okay. See y'all.